Let's continue where we left off last time in the previous video, where we created the visual elements of our chatbot in part 1. So now let's create the remaining scripts to make it fully functional. So let's open up the scripts file, and as with any good developer, let's lay out the plan on what we want to do. So first off, I want to get all the DOM element selectors, and next we want to put the event listeners for each selector. And I also want to initialize some variables. I want to do that before we do anything else. And I also want to handle the message. So let's create something called the message handler. And we also want to add the new lines onto the chatbot. And finally, we want to have the function to be able to handle the response. So I put it in reverse order so that the declarations won't be a problem. So let's start with adding the additional DOM element selectors. Let's start off with the close button. So add the close button over there. And we also add the event listener. So the event listener for the close button is the one for the mobile responsive mode. So let's see if that works. Open up our chatbot over here, and let's see. Click, and it closes. Good, it's working. Well, let's finish up the remaining DOM element selectors. Let's start off with the message input. I want the message input, and we also want to listen to the send button. And we also want to listen to the message thread because we'll be adding elements into it. And I think that should do it. Okay, so let's put the event listeners for these different DOM element selectors. We want to listen to the message input whenever the enter key is pressed, or if the value changes for the input. So let's do that. So message input, and we add an event listener for the key up event, and we listen to the event itself through an arrow function. If the key entered is enter, and at the same time it's not the shift key and it's greater than 480 pixels, which is the desktop version, let's prevent the default from happening. And let's handle the chat. So it's a function that we still don't have right now, and let's create it over here. So let's create the function expression handle chat is equal to a function, and put an arrow function for now, and we'll complete it later. The second event that we want to listen to is if the input has changed on the message input. So let's do that. The event is called input, and it also has the parameter for the event, and that will contain the message of the user. So let's restore the height to the original height, because it's a text area, it's a variable height. So let's restore the height and make it take the entire height minus 32 pixels. Okay. And let's also store the user message, and this is the variable that I was talking about. So let's define that variable over here. So that's the user message, and then we also want to get the height, the initial height of the message input, so that we can always reset it to that size. So now let's finish the coding of the chat handler. So now that we have the user message, let's trim all the unnecessary spaces. And if there is nothing there, we do a return. And if not, let's reset the value of the message input, and let's set it back to the original height. And this time, let's add the list item on the DOM element. So this will be message thread box. Okay, and let's append the child. Now we have to create the function to create this list. So let's create that. I want to call this create message line. And it will have a parameter of user message, and it will be outgoing. Okay. So let's create that function. So we said it's going to have parameters of message and class name, or incoming or outgoing. And here's a function. So let's define the list element is document create element, and let's call it a list. Okay, and let's add to it a class called message, and the class name, whether it's incoming or outgoing. Let's also put the content. If the class name is outgoing, then it will just be plain paragraphs. Let's do that. Otherwise, it will have the avatar, which we have over here for the incoming. So it will have an avatar and also a paragraph. So let's copy that. Over here, we'll use this. Okay. And it will have the paragraph. Let's just copy it here. I don't want to type it. Oops, there's a typo over there. Should be backslash. Okay. So copy it over there. And that should do it for the chat content. So in turn, this chat content will be the inner HTML of our new list. So we say list element inner HTML is equal to chat content. Okay. And let's add the message to the paragraph. So list element by selector paragraph. Okay. And the text content will be our message. Okay. And let's return list element. So let's continue with our handle chat function. And so this takes care of creating the new message line. And what we want to do now is we want to be able to scroll all the way to the bottom. So this command should do it. And we also want to have an incoming message that will prompt the user that the chatbot is thinking, and add that as another line item. Okay. And let's also scroll all the way to the bottom for that. And finally, let's generate the response. So we still don't have the function for this. So let's create a generate response function over here. The parameter will be the incoming list item. Okay. Let's do that. Generate response is equal to a function. The parameter is incoming list item. And let's give it a response of just some text over here. And let's apply that response as the text content of our new paragraph. Okay. And just like the others, we want to scroll all the way to the bottom. Okay. So just review the whole thing. Let's see if we missed something. I think we're good. So let's see if this entire script works. Open up our chatbot over here, and let's see. Okay, give it a message. Hello. So this hello should appear as another list item on the dialog. and unfortunately it didn't work. Let's see what happened. Okay, so list element class list is not a function. Let's go back to that. List element class list. Of course, it's not a function. You have to say add. Okay, add is the function. Let's try that again. Hello. And this time, yep, it's showing our hello and the response is over there. Okay, so the normal message looks good. So let's simulate an error by giving this on the script over here on the generate response. Instead of a good message, let's put an error over here. Let's comment that out for now. And let's simulate an error. Okay, nice. Okay, so there's the error, but it's not formatted properly. Let's add the error style on the message thread for our styles. So where is that? Okay, so let's put it over here. Message thread. And message. And it will be on the paragraph, and it's an error. So let's give it this styling. Give it a red color. Okay. And let's see how that goes. And there you go. Looking good. And let's see if it's mobile responsive. Yes, very much so. Okay. All right, so congratulations at this point. You are now officially a front-end ninja. So next step, let's finish the back end. Take a break, and I'll see you in the next video.